Hello and welcome to Bold of You to Say,
the official podcast of yelling.
Hello.
Here with me is, of course, my two co-hosts, Jared and Gavin. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, I'm Gavin.
That's Gavin.
Am I too quiet? Hello.
Maybe just get a little closer.
Yeah.
Gavin, you're not yelling enough.
I know. I'm very calm today.
We have a special guest with us today, Eric Saunders from our CTC Film and New Media class.
Hello.
Now, Eric, we understand you have a podcast too. Would you like to explain how that works?
Yes, it's called 2 Cents. It's kind of dying on us, but the idea is to make the worst advice possible and give it to people, but we don't tell them on our podcast. See, we kind of bait them. We kind of debate them.
You trick them into ruining their lives?
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
It's a.
Sounds like Medicare.
It's similar in nature.
Hey,
Whoa.
Yaga.
Got him. It's fairly similar in nature to what we do here.
Sounds like unsubsidized student loans.
Whoa.
Heyo.
So we have some podcast updates. In our last episode, when we interviewed Mord, I alluded to putting the podcast on iTunes. Since then, it is on iTunes and also Spotify and Google Play and Stitcher and YouTube. So wherever you listen to podcasts, find us there. Let's get into our bold statements.
You have the floor, sir.
Okay. Yes, I played Red Dead 2.
Oh, yeah.
I believe best game I've ever played, but I legit don't think Micah should have been the bad guy. Because it didn't make any sense at all. He was like a pretty bad guy, but he wasn't the worst bad guy.
I'm not familiar with the games, but that is bold of you to say.
It's very.
I'm familiar with the game. Why do you
I'm
think
not
Micah
familiar
shouldn't have been a bad guy?
Because I think it should have been the Picotins or someone else. Because
They were the bad guys.
They were the bad guys, but Micah was because
Micah sold John and Arthur out.
Well, yeah, but the first
just
3
to get
chapters,
more money.
the first 3 chapters, Micah worshipped him. Then the 4th chapter, God knows what happened to him. 5th chapter, he's like, okay, I hate you now. In 6th chapter, he's like, I'm a bad guy now. It's like...
Well, yeah, no, because Micah doesn't like Arthur or Morgan not Morgan. John doesn't like Arthur or John anymore. He always hated John, and he doesn't like Arthur because Arthur's starting to
When you say Arthur, I think of Arthur from the cartoon, and when you say John, I think of John Lennon. And so now I'm thinking
that is the greatest.
In my mind's eye, I imagine a woman, because I know what Red Dead is, right? I know that. So I just imagine this cowboy cabin with Arthur reading a book and John Lennon being like, "Hey, what's up, you weird
aardvark."
Is he an aardvark?
He's an aardvark.
Oh dang.
Yeah. I love aardvarks.
And then John Lennon trying to make a song and Paul McCartney always making a better song than he is. And he's always really PO'd at Paul because he's like, yes, and it was my idea.
Paul.
It's my idea. I don't know why Paul keeps on stealing it. He's
man.
like, aardvark.
Alright, so we should move on to our next bold statement.
Can I do mine?
Yes,
yeah.
sure.
I'm going to say this. A lot of people disagree with me so far, but have you guys seen iRobot?
No.
I saw it and
robot.
I hated
Yes,
it only because
I've
of the
seen it.
grammatical errors in that sentence.
Oh, I liked iRobot. I thought iRobot was a good movie.
Is it iPhone robot or is
what's
it
your-
me as
No,
an I?
It's
comma
Apple
robot.
in 20 years.
It's supposed to be like a Shakespeare thing because it's all about the meaning of what people are.
You understand that shit? Shakespeare was getting blasted with weed. He was smoking lots of Mary Jane.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't believe Shakespeare
iRobot's
was
a
the artist
movie
behind
about a
his
robot
own
that
work.
thinks it's a human being, and Will Smith's in it with a robot arm, and then they fight a giant robot.
I don't believe
Television.
Shakespeare existed.
No,
Shakespeare was
What
actually
are you to
black.
say? Wait, what?
No, John got somewhere.
Alexander Hamilton was white.
Alexander Hamilton was actually a ham.
But yeah, no, a thing that always gets to me. It's everyone's like, "Oh, iRobot's such a bad movie." It's why though? It's because it doesn't add anything interesting to anything and all this. It's so you want iRobot, a movie about robots, to be the next Citizen Kane.
Well, I never
It's
seen
it doesn't add any social commentary. It's I mean, not all movies need to be just a masterpiece. Sometimes they're just popcorn flicks. Okay, let's think of this. Citizen Kane is a movie that everyone loves. You want to know another movie that everyone loves?
Hunger
Matrix.
Games.
I
no,
think Citizen Kane
Tommy
is...
Wiseau's The Room.
I think
now
Citizen
you
Kane
tell
is
me,
definitely
are both
overrated.
of those films on the same level and artistic quality?
You're tearing me apart, Jared. Oh my God, Jared. I didn't hit her. I did not hit her. I did not.
That was the worst impression I've ever in my entire life.
Doesn't work.
I did. I messed up the line
It's not
too.
true. I didn't hit her. I did not.
You actually
I
acted.
did not.
I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
I actually do that every time I see Mark from school.
Oh, hi, Mark. And he's like,
Oh, hi, Mark.
No,
He hasn't said anything about it
But
yet.
no, that's one thing I always like to bring up when like there's always a critic that's like, this movie is so dumb, it's like it's just a cheesy popcorn flick. It's like, look at The Room. Look at The Room and you tell me that movies need to be
It
artistic.
became an
at times.
accidental comedy.
It's like,
I have not seen Citizen Kane, but I can tell you that it's definitely overrated. Because no matter how good Citizen Kane is, there's no way it lives up to what people are saying about
that's a good
Wait,
point.
guys, can a movie ever be perfect?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes the flaws are what helps the movie.
I think
gonna
Endgame
do-
will be perfect.
They do movies what the Electoral College did after George Washington. They won't elect it unanimously. They won't. Sorry,
Yeah.
that was a bad reference. So what? Let me
Moral
explain
of the
this.
story, Electoral College bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I get what political
Bold of you to
standpoint
say
are
is
we?
staunchly anti-Electoral College.
That's what we just say.
Thank you.
You're not even on this. Get out. Get back in your cage.
Okay.
Guest. Get back in the guest cage.
Gavin, do you have your bold statement
I have a
prepared?
bold statement. SpaceX is eventually going to become totalitarian and its own government, I think.
You think Elon Musk,
Are you
the
just pitching
biggest
your movie?
meme lord?
I think eventually SpaceX is going to go to Mars, right? They're going to get there. They're going to be like, oh, it's a lot easier to do things here than we thought, right?
And then they're gonna make a Martian government, and it's gonna be just kill zones.
Well, no, they're going to go there
And it's going to
then
be exactly like the
Earth is
sci-fi
gonna-
movie that Gavin is
Earth is going to go
making.
downhill, and then they're going to be like, okay, life is better on Mars because this is a clean slate, yada yada yada.
that's not what not Elon Musk. That's not what Elton John said in his song.
I don't give a crap about what. Yeah,
It's
you know what?
too
And you know what
cold.
David Bowie said about Mars, or more.
Is there life on Mars?
He's been asking a question that asks. Major Tom, is there life on Mars?
Hold on, they're coming to the door. You can open the door. Oh,
Cool.
What was that?
What?
He said I'm a virgin.
he's
I
a
don't know.
virgin.
That's cool.
I
But
didn't know.
I think they're gonna go there, and then the U.S. government, like eventually when they become like self-sufficient, the government
Self-sustaining.
self-sustaining, the government's gonna be like, okay, well we're gonna have to tax some stuff here because
And then
I'm gonna
Elon
buy
Musk,
the
who is
moon.
going to be the
Elon
Emperor
Musk
of Mars, will
is-
rise from his golden throne and
Either-
say no.
either
I think if anyone deserves to be Emperor of Mars, it's Elon Musk. Simple
Yeah.
as that.
you know what? How did Elon Musk not make a cologne yet?
Cologne or
Oh my God.
clone?
Did you see? Did you not? Like, come on, Elon's
That's-
Musk. Buh!
Elon's Musk.
What would it smell like?
Is
This
that
is the
a-
smell
It
of
would
space.
It would smell like science.
It would smell like a vacuum, like a vacuum of space.
Let's look this up. What does space smell like?
It's yeah.
I don't think it has a smell.
No,
I think
it's because when you go out into space,
that's a question. That's a question people
No,
ask
when
us.
you go-
Space
Oh my
is
God.
full of smells, but mostly the burning odor of hydrocarbons. So Elon's Musk would smell like burning hydrocarbons.
sounds like my Friday night.
Sometimes I just go outside.
Smells like a
with
lot
my
like a
friends and we
NASCAR.
just burn that hydrocarbon.
That sucks.
Elon Musk, secret redneck.
Oh my God.
My bold statement for this episode. It's rather timely because Endgame is coming out in 2 days.
Whoop, whoop.
In my opinion, I believe that
Kevin
the
Marvel
cinematic
sucks.
universe has made like cinematic movie storytelling more sophisticated than it was before.
Yeah.
Because now you can have story arcs going for multiple
Oh yeah, no.
movies
I love
for over
what they've
10
done.
plus years.
Like what Marvel's done with that is stuff that I've always wanted to see in movies. Like as a kid, I always thought, why don't they just connect these movies? Why
Yeah,
aren't
it kinda
every
does.
action movie in the same universe? Because like that'd be awesome.
Then the world would
Like-
be just chaotic.
Like,
Whew.
Expendables is literally every action movie hero is in the same movie, and they're gonna go stop the terrorists, and I love that. But it's like none of them are connected. With Avengers and stuff, like you don't need to worry about like understanding the characters and like the big team up ones, because it's like, oh, you already understand like their emotions and stuff. Like the first Avengers focused mostly on like the team's like camaraderie.
the first act,
And-
it had a bit of
Yeah.
it was bogged down a bit by exposition. But once you get past
Yeah,
that, It's just go, go, go.
Yeah, but, like, that's the thing I like about how Marvel does it. Like, DC is trying so hard to piggyback on Marvel. A lot of places are trying to do that when they, like, making their expanded movie universe.
The Monsters universe, like
yeah,
the Mummy
that
and Dracula.
failed. They canceled that, actually.
And that was the classic monster movies, like the Mummy and Dracula.
Yeah,
all that stuff, they were interconnected. That was the closest
Oh, you
thing.
mean the original one?
The OG ones, yeah. Those were all connected. That's the closest thing that we had to the MCU before the MCU.
Yeah. But like,
yeah, Justice sucked.
I like seeing what they've done, like with Marvel. Like Marvel's gone through, and they've basically created this empire with their films because people like how they do it.
They created an empire without Jesse Smollett.
But then you see like DC and Warner Brothers and stuff like that. They're trying so very hard to get like the same exact thing.
They do their own thing. Like, honest to God.
Like, I think like what DC's doing is they're trying to jump in with the whole team up thing way too soon.
Yeah.
Like, they've introduced 5 superhero characters
in one
and
movie.
only one of them has 2 of them have a backstory. And that's Superman and Wonder Woman, because they retconned all of the Dark Knight stuff for Batman. So this Batman's a completely new Batman.
It's not a retcon, it's just a different universe.
Yeah. It's still confusing, though, because everyone's like, oh, yeah, Dark Knight trilogy, that's Batman. It's like, no, it's not. Batman.
This is what they should do. They should get a story, a good, solid story, and then make it like I don't know, just be smart with it. Like make a story with it.
Depending on what the characters are too, though, also depends on it. Because like, there's a movie universe. I'm gonna watch it because I love it. It's the Godzilla movie universe.
God bless.
Now with that, you don't need to worry about characterization because you know. If you're gonna watch a King Kong Godzilla movie, you're going to watch giant animals absolutely destroy the place.
Then go to the zoo.
Like you just want destruction.
I think,
but like with a movie like Marvel and DC stuff, where like the comics are like the big like superhero things with story arcs and character development and plot. Like you need to focus on those things and develop the characters, but it's not a comic book where you can have like 4 issues or like the size of my hand.
Right.
You need to have like individual movies where you develop the character's personality and like their morals and stuff, like origin story stuff.
I think the problem that a lot of studios have when they try to make a cinematic universe is they have a lack of patience.
Yeah. Nowadays, because they're trying to ride on the coattails tails on Marvel.
Yeah.
How long they're trying super hard to like, hey, Justice League's a thing. Come watch this.
How long did it take to go? From the first MCU movie to the Avengers, it took 4 years to go from Iron Man 2008 to the Avengers 2012.
Yeah,
and they had Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man 2,
I thought
and then the
Hulk
Avengers.
Was before. No, it wasn't. Never mind.
Same year as Iron Man.
Yeah,
but it took all of those movies to build up to the Avengers.
Yeah.
Then what did DC do? They had Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman.
Yeah, Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman, then Wonder Woman,
and then
Justice League.
They had...
Then after that was Aquaman and Shazam.
Yeah, they had 2 characters, like, with the backstory before Justice League, and then they had Batman, who had shown up.
Just shown up, yeah.
He had cameos. So that's 3 characters out of... That's like half of the Justice League that has some development.
I saw Justice League, and I was so pissed. There was like legit a scene of Aquaman and Batman talking to each other, and Aquaman says, "Oh, so you're Batman, huh?" And it was like 4 guys, like civilians, like right next to him. I'm like,
that's so dumb.
Legit, like think about what they're doing.
Figure.
Yeah, it's a public figure. People didn't think about like what they're doing. Like they can't just like make something happen. And be like, that'd be so good to do. Like don't do that. Think about what you're doing.
They're so busy trying to copy off of Marvel's paper.
Yeah,
that they're not realizing. Oh yeah, these guys actually have secret identities.
Like, they're trying so hard to be like Marvel, where it's like, oh, everyone likes the superhero team up movies because they like the superheroes, but like it's the thing, they're making their own versions of these superheroes and not giving any context like their stuff. Like they're not the ones from the comic books. Like Superman alone shows it that he's not this paragon of humanity. Superman, like, he kills people. Mm-hmm. Superman never kills people. That's his whole thing. Like, when he does kill people, it's because he's, like, really just kind of sick of everything and just wants to destroy stuff.
But now, back to my original point. I think that the concept of the cinematic universe,
when
it's done right, like when Marvel does it, I think it's way more sophisticated than anything that's been done in cinema before.
The only problem I have with Marvel's cinematic universe is how the TV shows are to tie into it, because they just kind of like loosely fit in here and there, and then they're just out and then they're back in a bit and then they're gone.
Yeah, they're making more TV shows for Disney's streaming service because that's what we need. But all of those TV shows, I would like to see them. They're all canon.
There's only been one show from DC on this streaming service, because while we're talking about like comic book streaming services, I'm gonna shout this one out because it's honestly really good. Doom Patrol. It's based off. It's honestly not that bad. Like there's some like really kind of cringy parts here and there, but overall the story and the characterizations and stuff, it's great. Like they actually took time and put heart into it. Like Doom Patrol is one of the older DC comics, which is like, oh, they're just kind of like the worst superheroes for the job. It's like the X-Men if all of them were terrible.
Wow.
Like, and they actually did a really good job with that. Like, they have Cyborg coming onto it, like, because they need, more characters. They got Cyborg and a new character, but the other two are the other three are the normal ones and stuff. It works. Like, Cyborg has more characterization in Doom Patrol than in Justice League, the movie he debuted in. It's just kind of,
Eric, what do you have to say?
I'm so sorry. But like, the one thing was my biggest pet peeve is when like you have all these like superheroes like fighting like in Justice League or like any Marvel movie, they all have their special skill, right? Batman,
but they all just like punch people.
Yeah, Batman, he's not gonna go against like some. They always make him go against like some like super hybrid ultimate beast that he can't beat, but Superman can. No, Batman is like he thinks logically, he thinks smart, but like they never have that anymore. Like he's the best investigator. They don't have anything like that anymore. It's like let that happen. Like let him be like an investigator. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Batman, the greatest detective, has done hardly any detective work in any of his movies.
Watchmen, Rorschach and Watchmen, who's supposed to be like the same thing as Batman, did more detective work, and he was also a psychopath.
Yeah.
He was a crazy guy that kills people.
Bold of you to assume that Batman isn't also a psychopath.
Well, I mean, okay, that's we're getting into a more,
We're getting into controversial territory.
He needs to see a therapist for his post-traumatic stress disorder.
You know what? Like, it's just something that, like, when Zack Snyder's, I think it was Zack Snyder, it's Watchmen, which is panned for it being too cartoony, has a more realistic detective character than Batman, the guy who can solve any crime. There's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, definitely. Watchmen's Rorschach even screws up at one point and gets arrested because he kills the wrong guy.
All right, guys, we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, we gotta go.
It's been
fun. It's been good, Eric. I'm sorry we kept cutting you off.
No, I'm used to it by now. After this,
I'm sorry,
48
Eric.
Minutes.
The last one was an hour and 30 long.
And I have a small announcement too. Because
you're pregnant.
Yes. Because of like scheduling issues, because I'm going off to college and whatnot, and I have a bunch of busy stuff to do. I think I may not be able to come back to the podcast.
We're going to college at.
What?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, I kind of talked to Alex about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did mention something about how you probably won't be on this summer.
Yeah, I just have a lot of stuff. Yeah, get out of here, Eric. This is family matters.
No, Eric's part of the family.
No.
Okay.
I will be. It's not today.
It's not today. We'll do auditions for next for the replacement.
But if this ever, like, if it gets big, I'm not saying that.
If it gets big, I might come back.
Yeah,
if it can get me famous.
If I can get something.
I'm not trying to make it like that. I'm just trying to say, like, if you guys get big, I'd be happy to come back.
I would love that.
Okay. You know what? That'd be good. You'll be a guest on the podcast you helped started.
Yeah.
We will grant you a seat on the council, but we will not give you rank of master.
So to help us get to that point, share this with your friends. We're on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube.
It's okay to share the podcast, just don't share your needles.
That will be our closing statement. See you next episode. We have a couple more planned out.
Goodbye. Stay fresh, cheese boys.
Stay classy, San Diego.
No, I said it wrong.
Stay classy, planet Earth.
as they say in Canada, peace
Stay
out.
fresh, cheese bags.